Hello, this is Alicia, and I'm here to review Bitter Virgin Volume 1. So, sit back, relax, and listen to my telling you how good it is, because it's really, really good. Yeah, thank you. Bitter Virgin is the story of a high school student who finds out that one of his classmates not only got pregnant, but she also had an abortion the first time, and then the second time she actually had a baby boy. Which it makes for a really good story, I kid you not. Yeah. So just based on that alone, don't disregard this series, because that makes for a very good series. Wikipedia gives us a plot, and so I'll read it to you. Suwa Daisuke is a bored high school student living with his widowed mother in a small Japanese community. A player and a ladies' man, his ambition is to leave the small town he grew up in and move to the city like his older sister, Izumi. During class one day, while discussing with a friend which girls in the class he would date, he says that he would pass on only one, Aikawa Hinako, a quiet, fragile-looking but beautiful girl who has an extreme fear of men, even including her male teachers. Working after school in his mother's restaurant, Daisuke stops in an abandoned church while making a delivery. Having made up a tall tale of murdered brides, vengeful and murderous ghosts who chases you around with a cake knife, the entire town's population except him stays away from it, much to his amusement. Stopping inside to rest, he hears someone coming, and conceals himself in a nearby confessional booth. Surprised to see Hinako, who, as a newcomer to the town, hasn't heard the stories, entering the church, he remains in a confessional and pretends to be a priest to avoid an awkward moment. He tells her that Mass has ended, and he asks her to leave unless she asks to confess, hoping she will leave. He is startled when, instead of leaving, Hinako asks if he will hear her confession. Daisuke, believing it will be a mere triviality, agrees. She goes on to tell a story that will bind him to her forever. While in junior high, Hinako was abused and raped by her stepfather, becoming pregnant. Her mother discovers the pregnancy and does not believe Hinako's claims that her mother's new partner is the father. Hinako is forced to abort the pregnancy because the baby has already died inside of her. The abuse continued. Hinako fell pregnant again, but this time the evidence of abuse is spotted by the doctors, and her mother finally believes her terrible situation, throwing the stepfather out. The doctors tell Hinako that if she has another abortion, she might lose the ability to bear children completely. Hinako instead has to give birth to the child and puts it up for adoption. A year before the story starts, she gives birth to a boy. Hinako does not see her child before he was taken away to be adopted, but now wonders if she should at least celebrate his birthday. She comes to the church to ask God if she should. With an emotional Hinako on the verge of breaking down in tears, a desperate Daisuke tells her you have the support of God. Thanking him, she leaves. The next day, Daisuke cannot initially believe what he has heard, suspecting that Hinako invented the whole affair to make herself out to be some sort of tragic heroine. As he follows her home after school in order to confirm whether her story was true or not, Hinako stops to look at a woman and her baby in a carriage. Suddenly, the brakes slip and the carriage starts to roll down the hill. Hinako rolls instantly forward to save the child, and Daisuke instinctively jumps in front of Hinako to protect her. Both carriage and the baby are saved, but not before hitting Daisuke in the forehead and giving him a cut, throwing him to the ground with Hinako. In the process, Hinako's skirt gets hitched up, and Daisuke sees a Caesarean scar on her stomach, recognizing it as the same as he saw on his mother's stomach as a child. Hinako's story proven true, Daisuke is shocked, but when he walks her home from the hospital after having his cut treated, she cheerfully smiles at him when she recognizes a song, which makes his heart skip a beat. Daisuke resolves to help Hinako in any way he can, but finds himself unable to get her out of his mind. When I first started reading this series, I highly doubted it was going to be any good, because of the category it's under seinen, which is manga that's mainly aimed at male readers who want sexual content. But despite reading the first volume of the series, I don't really know why they put it under seinen. But it's also under romance and, I believe, comedy. So, it's real, I don't know what it was, but something about this series really captivates you and makes you want to read it. Even though the same things repeated over and over sometimes, like how the boy feels something, but he knows that he can't be with her because she's afraid of guys, and then how she doesn't really see him as a guy, but it's possible that they'll get together. And the art is stunning. I mean, at first I was thinking of um, Gotcha Gotcha, which is a manga that looks a lot like this for some reason. And then I looked up who the author was, and it's not someone who's familiar to me. But this, I really do recommend it. It has a good story, even though it's repetitive sometimes. It has excellent artwork. It's addicting. And don't throw this manga off as something you won't read just because of the demographic it's under, because I was going to do that, and I feel bad that I almost did that, because the story is excellent. So I basically told you everything you need to know about this series, so I hope you go out and read it, which you better, because it's awesome. Thank you. And this has been the first edition of Bookworm, my new vlog series. Well, I guess it's a vlog series. Thanks for tuning in.